Save you hours of speculation. Pulp Fiction explained. Skip 30 years of overthinking. In one pass, we'll map the timeline in under a minute. Show why Jules walks away while Vincent doesn't. Clarify what the briefcase is for, and highlight the bathroom motif that keeps tipping the story. By the end, you'll be able to explain Pulp Fiction without rabbit holes or endless theories. Ready? Let's start with the timeline. Chapter 1. Timeline in chronological order. Here's Pulp Fiction in real time, start to finish. No theories. Just the path through the story, so everything else makes sense. First, a flashback to the Vietnam era. Captain Coons gives young Butch the family watch. That object will pull Butch back into danger years later. Day 1, early morning. Vincent and Jules recover Marcellus's briefcase from Brett's apartment. They call what happens next a miracle. On the drive out, Vincent accidentally shoots Marvin. Crisis unlocked. Day 1, late morning. The Bonnie situation. Winston Wolfe cleans the mess, the suits go in the trunk, and Vincent and Jules head to a diner for breakfast. Same morning diner. Pumpkin and Honey Bunny attempt a robbery. Jules talks them down and decides to leave the life. Vincent doesn't. This is the fork in the road. Day 1, afternoon into evening. Vincent scores heroin, picks up Mia. Dinner at Jack Rabbit Slim's, the dance, then the overdose. The adrenaline shot saves her. They agree to keep quiet. Night, the fight. Butch was paid to lose, but he wins. His opponent dies. He hides out with Fabienne. Day 2, early morning. The watch is missing. Butch risks everything to retrieve it from his apartment. Vincent is inside on a stakeout and in the bathroom. Butch gets the jump. Vincent's story ends here. Day 2, late morning. Butch spots Marcellus on the street. A chase ends in a pawn shop. Both are captured by Zed and Maynard. Butch escapes, then chooses to go back and rescue Marcellus. Debt cleared. Day 2, midday. Butch picks up Fabienne and rides out of Los Angeles on Zed's chopper. Grace. That's the chronological end of the movie, but the film is arranged to end where the meaning lands, not where the action stops. We finish at the diner because Jules's decision, mercy over ego, is the point. The out-of-order edit lets you feel that first, then recognize how the other threads echo it. With the map clear, now let's define the lens. What Pulp Fiction actually means, and how that frame simplifies the briefcase, the bathrooms, and who gets out alive. Chapter 2. What is Pulp Fiction? Have you ever wondered what the title Pulp Fiction means? It refers to the affordable crime and adventure magazines printed on wood pulp paper in the early to mid-20th century. The stories were short, visual, and built for momentum, clear stakes, sharp turns, and firm payoffs. To achieve that, pulp storytelling follows 5 common rules. 1. A hot object focuses desire. It drives pursuit and forces confrontations. 2. Dialogue is confrontation. Power shifts through talk. Conversations decide outcomes. 3. Character is choice under pressure. What people do when it's hard determines where they end up. 4. Motifs carry meaning. Repeated signals, an object, place, or ritual, do the explaining without speeches. 5. Chapters serve payoff over time. Scenes can be rearranged so the story ends where the meaning lands. The film applies those same rules in plain sight. The briefcase is the hot object. It concentrates want, and its contents don't matter. Conversations are the battleground. The diner holdup, the cab confession, and the pawn shop negotiation all turn on words. Under pressure, choices decide fate. Jules chooses mercy and walks. Butch risks a return for the watch and earns a clean exit. Vincent refuses to change and pays. Motifs do the explaining. The glow, the gold watch, and the recurring bathroom beat signal turns before the characters notice them, and the chapters are arranged for payoff. The timeline is shuffled to end in the diner, because Jules's decision lands the meaning more cleanly than any chase. So the title Pulp Fiction isn't just a nod to old magazines, it's the film's playbook. With the rules clear, we can now investigate the film's core idea. Chapter 3. Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, the core idea. The film's moral engine is simple. Redemption beats pride. Characters who humble themselves or choose courage under pressure move forward. Those who cling to ego or routine do not. Jules is the clearest case. He reads the miracle in the apartment as a sign to change, then proves it in the diner. He lowers the gun, spares 2 thieves, and steps out of the life. The story closes on that decision because it carries the point: mercy over ego. Ending here turns the movie's last image into a statement, not just an exit. Vincent is the counterpoint. He is competent and charming, but static. He treats shocks, the miracle, Mia's overdose, Butch's return, as interruptions to be managed, not reasons to change. The running bathroom pattern underlines it. Each time he looks away, the world moves, and he's not ready. Pride in routine keeps him where he started, and the story pays that off. Butch begins in pride. He wins a fight he was paid to lose, yet his path bends toward redemption. First, he risks everything to retrieve the family watch, an heirloom that anchors identity and obligation. Then, after escaping the pawn shop, he chooses to go back and save Marcellus. That second decision costs him nothing less than safety, and it earns him freedom. The film rewards courage that protects others. Marcellus himself turns. He starts with vengeance, but after Butch saves him, he calls off the feud. That choice stops a cycle that the movie could have stretched for another hour. It's a quiet admission. Some debts are cleared by acts, not blood. Even the small-time thieves get a window. Jules offers Pumpkin and Honey Bunny a way out. Whether they take it is unknown, but the offer matters. The film keeps the door to change open for everyone who will walk through it. This is why the film's structure is logical. The timeline is shuffled to land on the diner, because that is where the movie's idea is proven. With the theme set, the next questions become easier. What the briefcase is for, why the bathroom pattern keeps punishing Vincent, and how the chaptering turns conversations into turning points. Chapter 4. The briefcase. Function over contents. As mentioned, the briefcase functions as a hot object under the Pulp Fiction rule. Its purpose is to concentrate desire, pull characters into conflict, and force decisions. The golden glow is a signal that says, "This matters," not an answer to, "What is it?" In Brett's apartment, the case resets the room the second it opens. Fear, compliance, and the miracle debate all orbit it. In the diner, it keeps Pumpkin and Honey Bunny at the table long enough for Jules to make a different choice. Across the film, whoever faces the case exposes themselves. Who bluffs, who panics, who exercises restraint. The story never reveals the contents because a reveal would shrink the idea. Leaving it undefined keeps focus on behavior. Jules changes and walks. Vincent stays the same and pays. The thieves hesitate on the edge of a better path. The briefcase applies pressure until those outcomes surface. Then it's done. Now track the pattern that keeps tipping events against Vincent, the bathroom motif, and why it marks fate as clearly as any choice. Chapter 5. The bathroom motif. When Vincent looks away, the story moves. There is a simple but often overlooked pattern in the film. Whenever Vincent goes to the bathroom, control slips and the plot turns against him. At Mia's house, he steps into the bathroom to rehearse good behavior. While he's gone, she finds the heroin, mistakes it for cocaine, and overdoses. His attempt to manage temptation creates a larger crisis. At breakfast, he leaves Jules at the table and heads to the restroom with his paperback. Pumpkin and Honey Bunny start the holdup while he's away. He returns armed but late. The outcome is decided by Jules's choice, not Vincent's timing. At Butch's apartment, he's on a stakeout. Again in the bathroom, Butch enters, spots the MAC-10, and takes the advantage. Vincent never gets to act. The point isn't bathrooms, it's attention and agency. Each time Vincent looks away, the world shifts. He doesn't adapt, and the film cashes that out. With the pattern clear, let's zoom in on the choices of Jules, Butch, and Vincent, and how those decisions track the film's core idea. If this is clicking so far, please like the video and subscribe. It helps more viewers find this video. Chapter 6. Deep Dive. Character Choices. Another key rule of Pulp Fiction is choices that decide outcomes. In Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, 3 men meet pressure, make decisions, and live with the results. Jules Winnfield. In Brett's apartment, the gunfire that should end him doesn't. Jules treats that close call as a directive to change. Hours later in the diner, he tests that decision in real time, lowers the gun, returns the wallet, and talks 2 shaky thieves out of a bad choice. He isn't grandstanding. He's exiting the life on purpose. The movie ends here because his action, mercy over ego, states the idea cleanly and leaves the world a step better than he found it. Butch Coolidge. Butch begins in pride. He's paid to lose, wins by knockout, and runs. At the motel, the old watch becomes a line he won't cross. Dawn light, a quiet apartment, the toaster pops, and there's the Mac 10 on the counter. He fires first and escapes, only to spot Marcellus on the street minutes later. A chase, a crash, and the pawnshop basement turn the story into a test of character. Butch reaches the door, then stops. He scans the wall, hammer, bat, chainsaw, before settling on the katana and going back down. Saving Marcellus buys him freedom. Leaving on grace with Fabienne is the earned reward for choosing courage over payback. Vincent Vega. Vincent is skilled but static. He treats shocks as problems to manage, not reasons to change. At Mia's house, he gives himself a bathroom pep talk, steps out, and faces a full overdose spiral he didn't prevent. At breakfast, he slips to the restroom with his paperback. The holdup starts while he's gone, and Jules decides the outcome without him. On stakeout at Butch's place, he's in the bathroom again when the tide turns for good. The pattern is consistent. Look away, lose control, return too late. He shrugs off the apartment miracle, sticks to routine, and the story closes his line accordingly. Together, these arcs cover the theme from all sides. One man changes and exits cleanly. One changes and earns a future. One refuses and pays the price. But Tarantino also uses structural tools to keep tension high without over-explaining. The intertitles, the circular diner frame, and most importantly, the conversations. Chapter 7. Tarantino Structure Tools. First, the intertitles and chaptering. The title cards, Vincent Vega and Marcellus Wallace's wife. The gold watch, the Bonnie situation, do more than label. They reset expectation, let the film jump in time, and park us at the next pressure point without spelling out the travel. Because scenes arrive as chapters, the story can reveal Vincent's death, then show him alive later, and still feel coherent. The card tells you, new lane, same day. Next, the circular diner frame, opening and closing in the same room, locks the film to its moral endpoint. We begin with a small-time robbery, and end with the same robbery resolved by Jules's choice. The circle isn't just Tarantino being flashy, it's emphasis. By returning to the diner after everything we've seen, the film makes that final mercy the last note, even though later events occur in story time. Last but not least, the conversations. As we've discussed, the movie treats talk like action. The apartment interrogation runs on cadence and threat. The cab with Esmeralda plays like a post-fight confessional. The pawnshop sequence hinges on bargaining before any blade is pulled. Because power shifts through words, the film builds suspense without exposition dumps. Each line changes risk. These structural tools are critical. They let the film withhold chronology without losing clarity, so it ends on meaning rather than spectacle. Tarantino turns simple rooms, the diner, a cab, a pawn shop, into pressure cookers, and you can feel the design working even when no one explains it. Now to the craft you can hear. The soundtrack as a story engine, and how the cues shape tension without a single line of exposition. Chapter 8. Soundtrack as Story Engine. In Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, the music doesn't sit on top of scenes. It drives them. Cues set pace, flip tone, and tell you what kind of moment you're in before anyone speaks. Let's explore. The opening track, Mr. Lou, by Dick Dale and his Deltones, fires the starting pistol, fast surf guitar that locks the film to a high pulpy tempo from frame 1. On the way to Brett's apartment, Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang makes the ride feel loose and funny, which is exactly why the door kick lands harder. A few scenes later, Let's Stay Together, Al Green, wraps Marcellus and Butch's bar talk in warmth while the offer stays cold. The contrast frames the threat without a speech. The Mia run plays like a 3-beat. Son of a Preacher Man by Dusty Springfield invites curiosity as Vincent explores the house. At Jack Rabbit Slim's, You Never Can Tell, Chuck Berry disarms the room with a harmless, joyful twist. Back Home, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon. Urge Overkill tightens the fuse. When the record stops, the overdose snap cuts the mood from flirtation to emergency. Elsewhere, the cues sharpen turns. In the pawn shop basement, Comanche, the Revels plays bright against dark action. That mismatch builds dread and nudges Butch toward the katana. The credits glide out on Surf Rider, the lively ones. A calm release that fits an ending built on a decision, not a reveal. Bottom line, each needle drop is a story beat. The soundtrack sets tempo, flips tone, and marks turns so the movie can sustain tension without extra explanation. Chapter 9. Why Pulp Fiction Still Hits Today. Even 31 years after its 1994 release, Pulp Fiction holds up and often plays fresher than many mid-1990s peers because its core tools don't age. It builds tension from conversation, not technology. It ends on meaning, not scale. And it uses a simple city, a few rooms, and precise choices to create momentum that doesn't depend on period trends. The non-linear structure is common now, but this cut still feels clean. Scenes operate like linked short stories. You always know the stakes, even when time jumps. That clarity gives first-time viewers a way in and gives rewatchers new edges to notice. Dialogue carries the action. The apartment interrogation, the diner negotiation, the pawn shop bargaining. Each plays like a set piece without requiring chases or effects that date quickly. Power flips through words, which makes the suspense durable. The soundtrack ages upward, not downward. Surf, soul, and rock and roll cues aren't tied to 1994 radio. They set tone and pace in a way that keeps working as styles change. The needle drops mark turns you can feel without exposition. Motifs stay readable. The glowing briefcase, the gold watch, the bathroom pattern. Simple signals that invite attention rather than demand decoding. They create rewatch value without locking the film to a single solution. Performance anchors beat the clock. Jackson's moral pivot, Travolta's cool routine, Thurman's brittle glamour, Willis's stubborn resolve. These are character moves, not time-stamped references. The acting sells the theme. Redemption over pride. Finally, the design avoids tech traps. Little depends on gadgets or headlines. Los Angeles, diners, apartments, and a pawn shop do the heavy lifting. Because the conflict is human and the payoffs are moral, the film stays current as styles turn over. Short answers help you explain it in one breath. Next, a mini FAQ, chronology in 2 lines, the briefcase in 1, and why the diner is the right ending. Chapter 10, how to watch it once and get it. Looking to watch Pulp Fiction for the first time? Or planning a rewatch after this video? Use a simple playbook so it clicks in one pass. Start by treating the diner as the frame. The holdup that opens the film will resolve at the end. That's the point the movie wants you to leave with, even though later events happen afterward in story time. Next, park the mystery hunt. The briefcase is a device. It focuses desire and forces confrontations. The contents don't matter to what the story is doing. Track 3 lanes, Jules, Vincent, Butch, and after each major scene, ask one question: who changed? Outcomes follow that answer. As you watch Vincent, clock the bathroom pattern. When he steps away, control slips and the story moves. Expect turns to land while he's gone. Let the chapter cards guide you. They're signposts, new lane, same day. So resist reordering the movie in your head as it plays. In every big conversation, listen for power shifts: price, threat, promise. In this film, talk is action. The person who controls the terms controls the scene. Mark the decisive choices so the ending lands cleanly. Jules spares and exits. Butch returns for the watch and goes back to save Marcellus. Vincent stays the same. When the credits roll, if you want strict chronology, rewatch using the mapped order from earlier. If you don't, hold on to the diner as the endpoint. The film ends on meaning, not on the last event. Thanks for watching. If this helped the film click, tap like so it reaches more viewers, and subscribe with the bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. Drop your briefcase theory in the comments. I'll pin the smartest take. Ready for more? Watch the video on your screen. See you there in our next deep dive.